Complete with his warm-ups now. Tennis goes down to green at second base. Wayne Garrett steps in, and stepping up is Ralph Connor. Thank you very much, Jim Simpson, and hi, everybody, all around the world. Wayne Garrett is stepping in the batter's box. Wayne in this series has had 4 hits and 22 times up, batting 182. He's had 2 runs batted in, 1 home run. During the season, he batted 256 with 16 home runs and 58 runs batted in. Wayne, a left-hand batter, being played as a 4-hitter, and the first pitch is swung on and fouled back into the stands on the third base side. So Hunter gets over the first pitch, strike one. Hunter with a lot of breaking pitches, sliders, curveballs, very fine control. Walked 69 in the regular season and 256 innings. Here's a pitch back to Garrett. It is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. A National League umpire behind home plate, Harry Wendelstadt. And now the pitch back to Garrett, and he swings and fouls it in the air. Back of the dugout on the third base side into the stands, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Oakland A's were complaining in the first 2 games of the World Series that the background here at this ballpark was not the same as it was during the season. It has been restored to the season's play with the green background extended across in the center field area. Now the 1 takes the fastball aside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oakland started this World Series as a 13-10 favorite. And they are down 3-2. Here's a pitch back at tie. Again, the fastball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. In 6 innings, Hunter gave up 7 hits and 2 runs, 1 home run against the Mets. There's a swing and a foul. The ball out of play, and the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hunter struck out 5 in his only start against the Mets, walked 3. And as Jim pointed out, he was not involved in the overall decision. 3-2 pitch, and it's time Garrett walked. Wayne Garrett, who had 72 walks in the regular season, is on at first base. And the first man on, and Felix Neon coming up. During the regular season, most of the time, Yogi in a situation like this would sacrifice. Neon has had 4 hits and 24 times up, batting 167 in this series. No runs batted in. Hit .290 for the year. That led the club. 3 home runs, 37 runs batted in. And the first, Neon is not sacrificing. He pops the back of first base, going over his green. A long one for him, and he makes the catch. A fine running play. Garrett Watson going to second and then home. Fine play by Dick Green, getting the ball over in the bullpen area in that big area that Jim Simpson told you about here at this ballpark. Green has not had a base hit in this series, but he has turned in some sparkling plays defensively. Will bring up Rusty Staub, the leading hitter in the World Series. Rusty batting .444, has had 8 hits and 18 times up. He has driven in 5 runs. He did not start in the first game of the series due to a bad shoulder, which he injured in the playoffs against the Cincinnati Reds. Left-hand batter, headed toward left center field by the center fielder. The first pitch line to center field, a base hit. There it goes to second and holds there as Davalillo comes up with the ball and gets it back in. So offline, coming over to third base, but picked up by Sal Bando. So the Mets with a runner in scoring position. On a walk to Wayne Garrett on the 3-2 pitch after an out by Leon. A single to center field by Rusty Staub. His 9th hit of the series. And Jones, he's having a fine series, batting .381. 8 base hits in 21 times up, and he's had 1 home run. Mets, as they did in the other start by Jim Hunter, getting to him quickly in the first inning. Here at a short lead at second base. Jones, the right-hand batter, hit .260 during the year. Here's the first pitch, a curveball. It is swung on and fouled back at strike 1. Jones had 11 home runs and 48 runs batted in, but he calls quickly for the Mets. Had 6 home runs and 14 runs batted in the Mets' last 10 games of the regular season. Leon with a very full shoulder stance. Got square with the feet. Here comes the pitch back to the plate. Fastball high and inside. Jones has to move away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jim Hunter with 36 starts in the regular season. Had an earned run average of 3.36. Has a lifetime earned run average of .22. 121 lost 5. And the right-hander sets the runner at second base. Here's the pitch back to Jones. It is fouled back in the right side. Hard foul ball back off to the right side out of play. Staub, Jones, and Milner have a combined batting average in this World Series of .411. Milner, the on-deck batter, stopped singles to raise that average even higher. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The next delivery, and Jones hits it into center field. Avalio is right there. Under the ball, Garrett halfway. The runner at second. After the catch, he goes back to the bag. So Jones is out. 2 men away. It brings up John Milner. Milner has had 7 hits and 20 times up, batting .350 for this World Series. He has driven in 2 runs. The left-hand batter led the club in home runs with 23. Did the season with a .239 average. Outfield shaded toward right field, playing Milner as a full hitter. And Hunter's first delivery, breaking ball way inside, ball 1. One ball, no strike. And we have a capacity crowd here in Oakland, and we have an enthusiastic crowd. The enthusiasm going toward the Oakland A's. The pitch back to Milner. Hit in the air to center field. A towering fly ball. Coming up is Vic Avalio. He waves, gets under the ball, makes the game, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. A walk and 2 men left. And the score at the end of 1/2 inning, the Mets nothing. The Oakland A's coming up.
Differences between the new 74 cars? Several. Like Chrysler Corporation's extensive use of electronics. Every car we build in this country has electronic ignition and an electronic voltage regulator to help save you time and money on service. And every one of our engine plants in this country uses Chrysler-designed electronic engine function testers to help assure you of a reliable, smooth-running engine. Electronic. Because one of the differences extra care and engineering makes in Dodge and Chrysler Plymouth.
Warming up. Fever, as we said, felt a stiffening in his shoulder, and today a slight pain in the front of his shoulder. A little concerned about that. In his previous trip in the World Series against the Oakland A's in the 3rd game, he pitched 8 innings, as we said, allowed 2 runs, 7 hits, struck out 12, and only walked 1. Hill at first, beyond the second baseman, Helson to shortstop, Hill to third, Joe on and Staub. The outfield, Jerry Grody behind the plate. Thompson sets the pitch to the leadoff batter of the Oakland A's, Campy Campaneris. Hi, Jim. Campaneris has had 6 hits and 23 times up in the series, batting .261. During the regular season, he hit .250 with 4 home runs and 46 runs batted in. Right-hand batter with great speed. Milner, the first baseman, playing up on the infield grass. Garrett even with the bag at third. The first pitch by Seaver, a fastball at tie, ball 1. Seaver led the National League in strikeouts with 251. Tied for the lead in complete games at 18. The pitch back is hit out to left center field. On with a long run. Can he get to it? Here he comes, and he makes the play. Ball was not hit hard. It was right center field, and Hahn playing a shade toward the right center field side had to go a long way to get to the ball. So 1 up, 1 away, and Joe Rudy the batter. Rudy was 6 hits and 21 times up, hitting .286. He is the top hitter on the A's in this World Series of the regular players. Has driven in 3 runs, and he has turned in some spectacular catches in the outfield. Joe Rudy playing left field. Seaver peers in for the signs. His catcher, Jerry Grody. Here's the windup, now the pitch. Breaking ball low and outside, ball 1. Seaver that time with a slider, hard curve ball, just missing off the corner. Rudy batted .270 in the regular season with 12 home runs and 66 runs batted in. Right-hand batter played straight away by the mid outfield. Pitch back is swung on and fouled, and it's a 1-1 count. Seaver in his 1 start against the A's worked 8 innings, gave up 7 hits, allowed 2 runs, both earned, walked 1, struck out 12. Left the ball game with an earned run average of 2.25. He was the major league leader in earned run average with a 2.08 ERA for the season. 1-1 delivery, breaking ball low and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. On deck batter, Sal Bando. A's have a combined batting average of 197 in this series with no home runs. They've had 3 stolen bases. And the pitch back to Joe Rudy, a fastball over the outside corner just above the knees, a called strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Mets have hit 269 in the World Series with 4 home runs, and they've had no stolen bases. Rudy with a slightly closed stance, stands fairly deep in the batter's box. And Seaver into the windup. There's 2-2 pitch. It is lined over the second base, base hit to right field. Scott comes up, fields the ball, flips it on in, and Rudy has the first base hit for the Oakland A's. Solid line drive to right center field. Now with a runner on and 1 away, the batter will be Sal Bando. Bando has had 5 hits and 18 times up, batting at .278 with 1 run batted in. He had 29 home runs in the regular season with 97 RBIs, and he hits in a very close stance. Then the Mets play their outfield straight away. Seaver to the set position. Here's the pitch. Fastball, low and outside the ball. Backhand catch by Jerry Grody. 1 ball, no strike. 330 down each line, 375 in left center and right center. And it is overcast now. No time to worry about. Here's a pitch back to Bando. A swing at a breaking ball. Hard slider. It's 1-1. There was rain in this area up to about 5 o'clock. The day broke beautifully, and it has become a little bit cloudy here. 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball in, a call strike. That time the big serve by Seaver. That's Bando backing away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Then the signs are out. Seaver to the set position. And the next pitch to Bando. Swung on and missed, and Bando went for a breaking ball that was way off the plate. Should have been a half a foot outside. Seaver gets his first strikeout, and it brings up Reggie Jackson. Left-hand batter had 5 hits and 20 times up, but 4 of them came in 1 ball game, the game won by the New York Mets. Second game won 10-7, and 4 of his 5 hits have been off Doug McGraw. Jackson left the American League and home run. Here's a drive to left center field, a good score run. Jones out to take it off the wall. Coming to third is Rudy, and he'll score. Jackson falls down, rounding second base, and has to go back to the bag as the relay throw goes over the head of Bud Harrelson and gets away. So Reggie Jackson drives in his 3rd run of the series, and the A's lead 1-0. Line drive by Reggie Jackson into the alley in left center field. The ball rolling all the way to the fence. Scoring. So the A's lead 1-0. They have a runner in scoring position with 2 men out, and the batter coming up is Gene Tennis. Tennis batting .231 in the series with 3 hits and 13 times up. And Seaver's first delivery. Swung on and missed. A breaking ball at strike 1. Tennis has driven in 2 runs in this series. Drove in 84 in the regular season. Pitch back to Tennis. A curveball looked at and called a strike. 2 count. Sun breaking out. Once again, the sun field is intended. Neon over to second base. Jackson scurries back to the back. Now gets off on a good lead. As Seaver catching. Here's a pitch to the plate. Breaking ball. It's just outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That is the first earned run for the A's after 18 innings with only 1 unearned run. Position. His 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and Tennis is struck out with a curveball. In the inning, 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And the score at the end of 1, Oakland 1, the Mets nothing.
Hello, Hamilton at Atlanta's Hartsfield International Airport, one of the 3 busiest airports in the country. Everywhere you look, you see shiny jets with the bright red, white, and blue markings of Delta Airlines. On the runway, you can spot one of Delta's wide right 747, the roomiest jet in the sky. And pulling up to a gate over there is one of Delta's wide right DC-10, the jet with the extra comfort of 2x2 seats in tourist as well as in first class. A plane just taking off is one of Delta's new 727,
with the big wide ride cabin. Later this year, Delta will be flying its new wide ride TriStar. 250 seats, all two on the aisle. You'll have a better trip when you fly a Delta wide ride jet. And when you travel with the American Express card. It's the quick, easy way to pay for your Delta ticket. And you can even extend payments for your airfare with the American Express card sign and fly plan. Just say the word. Delta is ready when you are.
The A's have done something they've done very seldom in this 1973 World Series. They have scored first against the New York Mets. And Ralph, you and I and the press, some fans and the clubs are not the only ones out here. The scoreboard has just flashed the sign that Mayor John Lindsay of New York has come to Oakland to watch his Mets. The Mayor of New York, John Lindsay. First batter for the Mets will be Jerry Grody. Grody, the catcher for the Mets, batting at .273 in this World Series, and the first pitch is line foul into the stands on the third base side. Grody's had 6 hits and 22 times up. He'll be followed by Don Hahn and Bud Harrelson. Jim Catcher center, the pitcher. He has given up a walk in the base hit. Got out of the first inning, leaving 2 men on. Now the right-hander back, and the one-strike pitch, fastball, high and inside. 1-1. That's just the lead in the other matchup between John Seaver and Catcher center by scoring 2 in the first inning. That was in the third game at Shea Stadium. Fastball drives Grody back away from the plate, high and inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Later on, the game was tied up, and neither pitcher was involved in the official decision of that game, which went to the A's. 2-1 pitch, and again it's a fastball high and inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Breeze blowing slightly toward right center field at this time in Oakland. Has very little effect on the ball. 3-1 pitch, and there's a drive to deep left field. Going back to the edge of the warning track is Joe Rudy. He is there, and he makes the play. One away, and it brings up Don Hahn. Hahn has driven in 2 runs in the series. One of them a big one, the insurance run, in the game won by the Mets 2-0 on the combined shutout pitching of Gary Kuzman and Tug McGraw. Hahn has had 4 hits and 22 times up, batting .182. Stands with a very wide stance and close stance. Widest stance of any member of this World Series. And here's a pitch to plate that's high, and it's ball 1. Hahn batted .229 in the regular season with 2 home runs and 21 runs batted in. A's leading 1-0. 1 man out. We're in the top of the second. And the 1-0 pitch to Hahn. Swung on and missed. 1-1. Crowd right here at Oakland with the enthusiasm of the crowds at Shea Stadium, where they were sold out for all 3 night games. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and it popped up. The ball out in foul territory, back out towards the A's bullpen, coming over Campaneris. 2 and away, and Bud Harrelson the batter. Harrelson has had a fine series. He's had 6 hits and 17 times up with .353 average. He's driven in 1 run. The overall season, he batted .258 with no home runs and 20 runs batted in. Harrelson is a switch hitter, so he's batting left-handed against the right-hander Jim Hunter. A's outfield skated over toward the left field side, screen. Harrelson not able to pull the right-hander. And there's the first pitch. It's a fastball outside the ball. Now Jim Hunter into the windup, and 1-0 for Harrelson pitches. All strike at 21. Harrelson on the pitch. Moved his top hand up as though he might move into bunting position, but then never changed his stance. Here's the 1-1 delivery. It's hit hard in the hole, and back by Darren Johnson. He goes over to Hunter, and Harrelson is out at Darren Johnson playing first base. Backhanded a great play to take a base hit away from Bud Harrelson. A 1-2-3 inning, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings, Oakland 1, the Mets nothing.
up to 12 hours of continuous relief from just your sneezing, runny nose, and congestion. And to get it, to take 6 cold tablets, 2 every hour, or 3 ounces of nighttime liquid, 1 every 4 hours, or 1 contact capsule. Of course, you should know that the others contain an antipyretic analgesic. The liquid, an antitussive, and alcohol, not found in contact. 6 or 3 or 1. The answer is contact. Use contact only as directed, then only when you know you need it. Contact, #1 cold medicine in the whole world.
Hello again from Oakland. Jim Simpson with Ralph Connor. We go to the last of the second inning. Catfish Hunter has been missing high with his pitches, but has been getting away with it. He has given up a walk and a base hit, but has retired the last 5 men in a row, and he does have the 1-0 lead over Tom Seaver. Joe Rudy went with a fastball on the outside part of the plate and singled right in the first inning, and Reggie Jackson timed the curveball and laced a double in left center to drive him in. It's 1-0 as we begin the second. That is Ralph. Okay, Jim, and Vic Davalillo will lead off for the A's. Davalillo has had 1 hit and 6 times up in this series, batting .167. Left-hand batter being used. The first pitch, a change curveball, but it's low and it's ball 1. It'll be Vic Davalillo, Darren Johnson, and Dick Green as Seaver works against the A's here in the second. Again, the sun is shining brightly in Oakland. Davalillo picks up that front leg as he moves out the hit, and the pitch back to the plate is a fastball. It's high and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Davalillo was acquired by the A's on July 31st. He batted .188 for the A's with no home runs and 4 runs batted in. Got a big base hit in the playoff game against Baltimore. And Seaver misses again with a fastball, and he's behind 3 balls and no strikes. Now the windup and 3-0 pitch, and Seaver gets a strike. Fastball right through the heart of the plate, 3-1. Looking out over the center field fence, the Oakland Hills, and they are showing very clearly. Next pitch way outside, and Seaver has walked Vic Davalillo. In his first ball game, Seaver walked only 1. That is his first walk of this game. That will bring up Johnson, who is batting 67. He's been up 3 times and has 2 hits as a pinch hitter. Johnson batted .246, but he had 19 home runs and 81 runs batted in. He was used as the designated hitter by Oakland. Darren started his career with the Yankees in the American League. Played considerable amount of time in the National. First pitch, a fastball swung on and missed, strike 1. That pitch might have been high. 1 strike down, no one out, a runner at first base, bottom of the second, Oakland leading 1-0. Seaver to the set position, and the pitch to Johnson is swung on and missed. Strike 2, and that pitch, a hard slider over the outside part of the plate. Banners all over the ballpark. For and against. Deep side. There's a pitch back by Seaver that is low, and it's a 1-2 count. Quite a few of the banners by Willie Mays. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Seaver ready. Here's the pitch. Johnson takes it in the dirt. A good play on the ball by Jerry Grody as he comes up with the ball. That ball hit a good 3 feet in front of home plate. Breaking ball by Seaver. He pulled too hard down on the ball and bounced it up there. 2-2 the count. Seaver in the season won 19 and lost 10. Made 37 starts. Pitched 290 innings. Now 2-2 his next delivery. It is low and outside, just off the plate, a full count of 3-2. Well, a decision now for Dick Williams, the manager of the A's. Will he have the runner going on the 3-2 count? Johnson does strike out. Seaver to the set position. The runner is going. The pitch is grounded to short. Harrelson fields it, has no play at second, has to throw across the diamond to first base. He does, and he gets the out, but a runner in scoring position for Dick Green coming up. Green is 0 for 9 in this series. Batted .260 in the regular season with 3 home runs and 42 runs batted in. Behind him is the pitcher, Jim Hunter. Jim Hunter, the on-deck batter. Green, a right-hand batter. And Seaver to the set position. Here's the first pitch. Fastball that's over the outside corner, a called strike.
from his catcher, Grody. Now checks out the runner at second. Cavaliero there with a short lead. Here's a pitch back to the plate. That's in for a ball, strike two. Two strikes out to Dick Green. Seaver to the set position. And his next delivery. It is swung on and foul down the right field side out of play. Stays at strike two. Last year, Tom Seaver won 21 games and lost 12. His lifetime record in the major leagues, 135 wins, only 76 losses. Now again, Seaver to the plate with a two-strike pitch. He misses with a slider, low and outside. 1-2. Goes to the final game tomorrow. It will be John Matlack pitching for the Mets against Ken Holtzman. 1-2 delivery. Runs back out to Seaver. He feels the ball falls down. It falls from his knee position and throws to Milner at first base for the out. A bad throw, but Milner crossing over the bag, took it and stayed on the bag. And on the play, Cavaliero went to third base. Seaver slipped in front of the mound as he was trying to turn to see where Cavaliero was. He had plenty of time to make the play. He slipped and went down to one knee. Third base with 2 men out and the batter, Jim Hunter. Hunter was 0 for 2 against Seaver when they met at Shea Stadium. Hunter, a right-hand batter. A's leading 1-0. A runner at third base, 2 men out. We're in the bottom of the second inning. And Seaver into the windup and to the plate. The pitch is swung on and missed. Seaver went into the windup. Big Cavaliero made a break down the line toward home, but then stopped about a third of the way. He was trying to distract the veteran pitcher. Seaver looks at him, now goes into the lineup, and the one-strike delivery. Swung on and missed. A high fastball that was up out of the strike zone. Strike two. Lights are on, but the sun is shining brightly at Oakland. Here's the two-strike delivery. It is swung on and foul back into the stand. So it now remains at strike two. In the first inning, Hayes scored when Joe Rudy singled to right and then on a double by Reggie Jackson, the left center field. And again, the two-strike pitch. Fastball, strike three call. And Seaver has his third strikeout of the ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, a man left at third. And the score at the end is 2. The A's won, the Mets nothing.
Plymouth Valiant, the car that quietly goes about being the #1 best-selling compact car in Portland. Valiant 4-door, Scab 2-door hardtop, Duster Coupe. Bill Yoder, general manager of Alexander Chrysler Plymouth, tells us why.
Valiant owners really like their cars. There's room. A family-sized car most people will want to buy. Extremely economical and fun to drive. Ask a Valiant owner about his car. He'll talk, and he'll convince you, too.
Or ask a gentleman of Alexander's to let you drive a Valiant. Alexander's, 24th and Sandy.
This is KPOK, Modern Country in Portland. The All-Americans invite you to enjoy the finest of modern country right here on 1330. And if you like controversy and intelligent discussion, you'll like Kim Fenwick each night on KPOK at 10. KPOK hopes that you enjoy the broadcast of the entire schedule of the 1973 World Series. And remember, for the best in modern country music, stay tuned to 1330 KPOK. We pause 30 seconds for station identification. It is our pleasure to present for the first time the World Series on KPOK 1330. It's also with great pleasure that we present for the first time to Portlanders beautiful music from 98.5 FM stereo. 24 hours of every day you may listen to the world's most beautiful music without hearing more than 7 units of commercial messages per hour. And just enough news to keep you well informed. KUPL 98.5 on your FM stereo dial.
We're going out of the top of the third, and Tom Seaver to lead off for the New York Mets, and he takes the first pitch. It's called a ball. Seaver is regarded as a fairly good hitting pitcher, right-hand batter. Had one home run in the season. He takes the pitch that's over the outside corner, breaking ball right at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike. Against Jim Hunter in their first meeting, Seaver had no hits and 3 times up. Here's one delivery, and Seaver swings with a high fastball, and it's not 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mets have had one base hit, a single to center field by Rusty Staub. It came after a walk to Wayne Garrett. But Catfish Hunter has retired 5 in a row since that base hit by Staub. There's a fly ball hit out to left center field. Moving up, the center fielder, Vic Cavalier, and he's under the ball, and he makes the catch. Cavalier now has had 3 putouts in the ball game. That'll bring up Wayne Garrett, who walked in the 3-2 pitch his first time up. A's leading 1-0. 1 man out. We're in the top of the third. Wayne Garrett has had 4 hits and 22 times up. He has had 2 runs batted in and also a home run. He swings at the first pitch, fouls it, and goes on back, and it's strike 1. Gene Kenneth, the catcher for the A's. First time he has started the ball game behind the plate. And Darren Johnson playing at first base. First time he has been in the starting lineup. Now the 1-strike pitch to Garrett. It's popped up. The ball on the shortstop side. Campy Campaneris right on the edge of the outfield grass makes the catch. 7 in a row for Catfish Hunter, and it brings up Felix Leon. Felix stopped at second base his first time up. Leon, who had 4 hits and 24 times up in the series. No runs batted in. He had 185 base hits in the regular season for the Mets. That broke a record held by Tommy Ridgey as the most hits in a single season by a Met player. Leon also had the club in batting percentage with a .290 average. And he takes the first pitch high, ball 1. Leon tilting way up in that bat. He's up about 12 inches from the end. He's way over the plate. Right-hand batter hits a hard foul ball down the third base side. 1-1 the count. Game number 6. A must-win for the Oakland A's. And they lead by a score of 1-0, 2 men out in the top of the third. And the 1-1 delivery. It's called a strike. Ball over the outside corner, about 2 the count. Had 3 home runs in the regular season, drove in 37. And the pitch back by Hunter. It is popped out in the shallow center field. Coming up is Vic Cavalier, and he gets to the ball and makes the catch. Cavalier now with 4 putouts, the side in order for the second time. 8 in a row for Catfish Hunter, and the score. In the 2.5 innings, Oakland 1, the Mets nothing.
How many of you are sitting on an idea right now? Maybe you've invented a new toy or a game, a kitchen appliance, or something to use in the shop. If so, you know the satisfaction of coming up with a good idea, but you also know the frustration of not being able to do anything with it. And that's where we can help. Production and Marketing International, a unique combination of marketing experts, scientists, engineers, financial analysts, and attorneys. Production and Marketing International will investigate your idea, check the production costs, the size of the market, the extent of the competition. If your idea has money-making potential, PMI will help you find a manufacturer to pay royalties for production rights, or it may fit PMI's own production facilities or nationwide distribution program. So don't just sit there on your idea, not when it could be turning into a major new product. Between 9 and 5 daily, call Production and Marketing International at 245-2630 for a free preliminary idea or product evaluation. It could be the most important phone call you ever made. 245-2630.
Well, this has been some kind of series. The Oakland A's slapped their fans for not showing up a week ago today for the opener of the World Series, for not paying much attention, for not being a very loud group of fans. And here today, Ralph Kiner, in game number 6, you're right, they sound like we're right back in New York at State Stadium. The ad has changed from Let's Go Mets to Let's Go A's, and the A's up now, and it's Campy Campaneris lead off against Seaver. The first pitch is swung on, and that's strike 1. Had a minor incident before the ball game. Bud McGraw's wife Phyllis and her 17-month-old son Mark and Lynn Dyer and her 6-year-old daughter couldn't get into the ballpark. Here's the pitch. Let's call the ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. They have a rule here that anyone 2 years old or more must have a ticket. But they did finally get in. Here's a pitch back that's swung on in the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Campaneris flied to center field and was out his first time up. 6 hits and 24 times up so far in the series, batting at .250. And the 1-2 delivery by Seaver, grounded foul out toward Irv Norton, the third base coach. Jerry Adair, the coach at first for the A's. Now, there is some speculation, Jim, that Irv Norton might be the new manager of the A's if Dick Williams moves on. He along with others. 1-2. Here's the pitch by Seaver. A half swing. Did he go far enough to check with the first base umpire? Marty Springs said no, so it's called a ball. Home plate umpire Harry Windlestat did not make the call. The Mets appealed it. And Windlestat got affirmation from Springstead, the first base umpire. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch back is popped up in foul territory. A chance for John Milner, the first baseman. He is under the ball and it's a catch. Will Campaneris out on a high outside fastball, fouling out to first base. It brings up the left fielder Joe Rudy, who has singled and scored. Rudy singled to right center field in the first inning and scored from first base on the double by Reggie Jackson, the only run of the game. Rudy now has had 7 hits and 22 times up. He leads the club in base hits and percentage. He has driven in 3. Tied for the club lead with Reggie Jackson, the runs batted in this World Series. Right-hand batter, the pitch by Seaver. Low and outside the ball. Seaver has struck out 3, and he has walked 1 while giving up 2 base hits. 1 ball, no strike. Seaver into the windup, and his next delivery is in for a called strike. 1-1. Rudy stepping out of the batter's box, asking for time. Slowly gets back in. Sun now has been swatted out by the clouds, so the sun field is no problem. Left field, the 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball over, and a called strike. 1-2. Rudy again getting out of the batter's box. Digs a hole with his back foot. Now it gets set back in the batter's box, and Seaver goes into the windup. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, it is just outside. Down around the knees, 2-2. Again, Rudy out of the batter's box. Gets back in. And the 2-2 delivery. It is swung on a miss, and Seaver gets Rudy with a fastball with a lot of velocity. His 4th strikeout. It brings up Sal Bando, who was his first strikeout. Puts him back in the first inning. Here's the pitch by Seaver. It is swung on and grounded foul. Fastball to the plate by Seaver down around the knees. Sinking fastball and grounded foul. First game going to the Oakland A's, 2. Second to the Mets, 10-7 in 12 innings. The third going to Oakland, 3-2 in 11 innings. The fourth going to the Mets, 6-1. And the 5th game going to the Mets, 2-0. And here we are in the 6th game. In that second ball game, it was the longest ball game ever played in the amount of time in a World Series. The 1-strike delivery, and Bando takes it blown away. 1-1. They had a World Series record set in that second game when they used 11 pitches, combined teams. And the most players used 38, 21 by the A's. Game time was 4 hours, 13 minutes. Here's a pitch for a ball. It's 2-1 to Bando. And Seaver back into the windup. The next delivery swung on a miss. A fastball over the inside part of the plate about letter high. Perfect pitch, 2-2. There are 2 perfect pitches considered by the ball players. High inside and a curveball low outside. There's a base hit bounce right through the middle. And Bando is on. Bouncing base hit right through the middle of the diamond out in center field. Is on, a runner at first, 2 men out, and coming up, Reggie Jackson. Jackson doubled in the first run with a double to left center field. He has driven in 3 in the series. And the base hit by Bando, the 3rd off Tom Seaver in this game. The left-hand batter played about straight away. And the first pitch by Seaver, a breaking ball, a hard swing and a miss, strike 1. Before his run batted in the first inning, Jackson had left 17 men on base and 10 in scoring position in the World Series. 1 strike out. That's outfield, of course, deep against the power hitting Reggie Jackson. Pitch back by Seaver, a breaking ball that breaks too low. Down under the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jackson had 32 home runs that led the American League. 117 runs batted in that led the American League. batted .293. 1 ball, 1 strike. Seaver to the set position. Down to a short lead at first base. Here's the pitch back to the plate. It's low inside. Gordy had to move out to make the catch. 2-1. A's leading 1-0. They have a runner at first base. 2 men out, bottom of the third. And again, Seaver back to the plate. The pitch is hit hard to right center field. It'll be a base hit going over Scott. He has it. Takes it back to the infield. Leon picks it up, and Vander is coming in. The ball dropped by Leon. The throw to the plate is not in time. Reggie Jackson hitting the ball to right center field. It was fielded by Scott. He cannot throw because of his injured shoulder. He threw the ball underhanded to Leon, who dropped the ball. Leon then picked it up and threw it on in. It was too late. A's lead 2-0 as Jackson goes into second. Never stopped. He was going to be sent in anyway under any circumstance. So the A's leading 2-0. A runner in scoring position is Gene Tennis, the batter. He struck out his first time up. And the first pitch, a breaking ball. It's outside and low. It's ball 1. So far, we have not had an indication as to the complete scoring of that play. I assume it's going to be a 2-base hit and no error. Here's a pitch for a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Back to Dennis is inside at ball 3. In the bullpen, some action stirring up. Ray Tedeschi, a left-hander, is starting to throw in the bullpen for the New York Mets. 3-0 pitch. Dennis swings and taps it up. A play for the first baseman, John Milner, in fair territory. And he makes the catch and the side is retired. 1 run. 2 hits, no error. 1 man left. And the score at the end of 3. The Mets nothing.
You'll find important differences in all Chrysler Corporation cars made in this country. For example, reduced maintenance. With our electronic ignition, you never have to replace points and condensers. There aren't any. Spark plugs last up to about 18,000 miles. And with our torque flight transmission, you have no recommended maintenance under normal driving conditions. Reduced maintenance is just one of the differences extra care in engineering makes. Discover all the differences at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
In Oakland, California, they must win by the score of 2-0. Ray Tedeschi took a couple of more warm-ups even after Tom Seaver had retired the side. The report again that Seaver felt a stiffness in his shoulder, a pain in the front of his shoulder as he warmed up and was quite concerned about it. Catfish Hunter has been missing high, but has only given up 1 hit, walked 1, struck out no one, has retired the last 8 in a row. And now, as we start the New York fourth, owns that 2-0 lead. Staub, Jones, and Miller in the fourth, and here's Wells.
Rusty Staub comes up. He has the only base hit that the Mets have had in this ball game. He singled to center field with Garrett on at first. In the first inning, the Mets had runners at first and second with 1 man out, but couldn't score, and that has been their only scoring opportunity. Since the base hit by Rusty Staub, Jim Hunter has retired 8 batters in a row. And the first pitch to Staub. Rusty takes it, it's inside the ball. A's have 2 runs on 4 base hits, and the 2 runs driven in by Reggie Jackson on 2 doubles. Staub steps out of the batter's box, gets back in. He's had more hits than anyone in the series. He's had 19 times up, and he takes outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Hunter has not struck out a batter. He has walked 1 and given up 1 base hit. And the right-hander into the windup, the 2-0 delivery. It is popped up on the first base side, and coming over the second baseman, Dick Green, and he makes the catch almost on the foul line as Darren Johnson lets him make the play. 9 in a row for Jim Hunter. That will bring up Cleon Jones, who flied to center and was out his first time up. Hunter now has worked 9 1/3 innings against the Mets in this World Series. He has given up 8 hits. And he has allowed a total of 2 runs, but they came in the first game, worked against the Mets, and they came back in the first inning. Jones has had 8 hits and 22 times up, and he takes the pitch high. It's ball 1. Leon batted .260 for the year, but he closed Burnley. Right-hand batter. His back is grounded in the hole going over to Cincinnati. He sees the ball in front of him, throws overhanded to first base for the out. 2 men away, it brings up John Milner. Milner with 7 base hits and 21 times up, batting .333 for the series. John White out to center field with runners at first and second in the first inning for the final out of the inning. A's leading 2-0. A run in the first and a run in the third. Milner, a left-hand batter, led the club in home runs with 23, and he takes the pitch low. John also drove in 72 in the regular season while batting .239. This is his second year in the major leagues. 1-0 pitch, fastball, it's outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Milner from Atlanta, Georgia. His idol is Hank Aaron. 2-0 pitch is swung on and fouled. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. And his teammates call him the Hammer, which is also Hank Aaron's, one of his nicknames. Hank Aaron was here to throw out the first ball opening day. 2-1. Base runner looking in for the sign, pitching to Gene Kennedy. The pitch to Milner is over the inside. Milner throws back. John thought the ball was inside. 2-2. That pitch was put exactly where Hunter wanted it. The A's have been pitching Milner over that inside corner. And it's 2-2. The pitch swung on and fouled. Ball off the foot of Gene Kennedy. So the count holds at 2-2. Of the regular season, Oakland won 94, lost 68. The Mets won 82 and lost 79. Then the signs go out. The sun now shining brightly. And it's 2-2. Milner hits a hard ground ball to first base, and John line goes to the bag. The side retired in order. That's 11 in a row for Jim Hunter. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings, the A's 2, the Mets nothing.
This is Milo Hamilton, voice of the Atlanta Braves. You know, Delta is called the airline run by professionals, and there are 28,000 reasons why. The 28,000 highly skilled men and women who are Delta Airlines. The Delta professionals have experience. A typical Delta captain has tens of thousands of hours and millions of miles under his seatbelt. The Delta professionals go that extra mile. Every Delta stewardess has to win out over 24 other fine applicants to get her job. The Delta professionals know their job. Every Delta reservationist can give you flight schedules quickly with computer-accurate fares. The Delta professionals, all 28,000 of them, go all out to give you a great flight on Delta. So next trip, fly Delta, the airline run by professionals, and pay for your Delta tickets with the American Express card. You can even extend payment for your airfare with the American Express card sign and fly plan. Delta is ready when you are.
We're going now to the bottom of the 4th inning. The A's leading by a score of 2-0. They got a run in the first off Tom Seaver with 1 out. Joe Rudy singled to right field. Randall was then struck out for the second out of the inning, but Reggie Jackson doubled up the alley in left center field to drive in Rudy from first base. In the third, with 2 men away, Sal Bando singled to center field and scored from first base when Reggie Jackson doubled to right center field. And the A's coming up with 2 runs on 4 hits. The Mets have had no runs and 1 base hit. Base hit by Rusty Staub back in the first. For the A's, Rick Cavalier will lead off. He walked his first time up, got as far as third base, but was left there when Hunter struck out. Seaver has struck out 4 batters. He has walked 1. And the big right-hander with his first pitch is grounded toward third, and there's a foul ball. Ball given by Jarrett, that's going foul. But a very close call by third base umpire Jerry Neudecker of the American League. Back to the plate. He's had 1 hit in 6 times up in this series. And he is playing in center field with Jackson over in right, with the right-hander Tom Seaver going. Seaver reading the signs, now into the windup. The one strike pitch, one up and miss. Cavalier going for a fastball about better high with a hard swing. It'll be Vic Cavalier, Darren Johnson, and Dick Green. His first three batters here in the fourth inning. And Seaver into the windup. The 2 strikes, nodded toward first base. Milner digs it out. Tough half hop and goes to the bag for the out. One away, it brings up Darren Johnson, who has turned in 2 fine plays defensively. One against Bud Harrelson and another on a hard shot by John Milner. Darren has been up once, and he's grounded out to short. Johnson now has had 2 hits and 4 times up in the series. First pitch by Seaver, hit in the hole to short, but shaded over in the hole with Harrelson. He comes up with the ball, throws to first base for the second out of the inning. Now Dick Green, he bounced back to the pitcher his first time up, batting for the second time. Green is 0 for 10 in this series. Right-hand batter, the second baseman he is, batting 8th in the batting order. And Seaver's first delivery. It is too low, a breaking ball, ball 1. And down into the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Hit in the center field for Green's first base hit. Line drive, just to the right of Felix Leon, the second baseman, out in the center field, and Green is on with his first base hit. Fifth hit off Tom Seaver brings up the pitcher, Jim Hunter. First time up. That's Dick Hunter, a very good hitting pitcher. Right-hand batter to set position, and the first delivery is swung on and grounded foul as the cloud moves under the sun, and we now have a shaded playing field area. Seaver again sets up, and his next pitch to Hunter. Swung on and foul back into the stands. A fastball foul off at strike 2. Now the sun again appears, and again we have the sun field in left and left center, and the 2-strike delivery. Low outside. Breaking ball, it's 1-2. Seaver sets up. Green not being held on at first base by Milner, and here's a pitch back. It's chopped up into shallow center. Coming up is John Hahn. He's under the ball. And he makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit. No errors. A man left at first, and the score at the end of 4, Oakland 2, the Mets nothing.
Two-stage maxi filter. Lean on it. The lead two-stage maxi filter. Lean on it because it's the oil filter with a second stage to clean your car's dirty surging oil. Oil that single-stage filters miss. The lead two-stage maxi filter. Save on it because it's the filter you buy at a discount chain or auto store where major brands cost less than at a gas station. The lead two-stage maxi filter. Save on it because it's the filter you install yourself. Two-stage maxi filter. Lean on it. The lead two-stage maxi filter, one of the lead eliminators. If you want more for your money these days, do it yourself.
We pause 30 seconds for station identification. It's World Series time. The beginning of the winter driving season is here, and icy winter streets can be a sporting proposition. So this year, make sure your car is equipped with the best snow tire available. Pirelli Centerado MS35 steel-belted radial snow tire. The Pirelli MS35 is designed to perform under the hardest winter driving conditions and still behave like standard radials on clear roads. See the Pirelli MS35 at Art Stearns Tires. Now with 2 convenient locations, 28th and Northeast Sandy and 10th and Northwest Gleason. KPOK Portland.
Center along with Jim Simpson from Oakland, and the first batter for the Mets is Jerry Grody. Hits it right by the third baseman, Sal Bando, for a base hit to left field. So Grody is on, and that puts the potential tying run at the plate, and Don Hahn coming up. Jim Hunter had retired 11 consecutive batters before the base hit by Jerry Grody. The last to reach was Rusty Staub back in the first inning. So the Mets have their second base hit. And Don Hahn coming up is 0 for 1. He fouled out to the shortstop his first time up. Brody getting his seventh base hit of the series. He's now 7 for 24. Hahn has had 4 base hits in 23 times up. A right-hand batter with that widespread batting stance. Somewhat similar to Joe DiMaggio, if you can recall that. And the first pitch is ball 1. Hahn stepping out of the batter's box, now gets back in. Hahn batting 7th in the batting order. And Hunter working in the set position. And the right-hander sticks back to the plate. Is low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. A's leading by a score of 2-0. A run in the first inning and a run in the third. Both driven in by Reggie Jackson. Both on doubles, one to left center and one to right center. The first scoring Joe Rudy and the second scoring Sal Bando. They had both had base hits. Under to the set position and the 2-0 delivery. It is over the outside corner. The knee, and it's 2-1. Hunter nipping that outside corner with a slider. Hunter has not struck out a batter. He has walked one. His first batter in the ballgame, Wayne Garrett, on the 3-2 pitch. Here's the 2-1 delivery, and it's swung on and grounded foul over to the on-deck circle, where it's fielded by Bud Helton, the Met shortstop. 2-2. On in the regular season, batted .229. He used to platoon in center field, but near the end of the year, when the Mets got out, he played in every ball game. Had some very big base hits. The 2-2 delivery. It is swung on again, foul back into the stand. So the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Don Hahn drove in the winning run and was what was the turnaround game for the New York Mets. If they had lost the game, they were playing the Pittsburgh Pirates. They would have been 4.5 behind Pittsburgh as a result of the winning run scoring on Hahn's base hit. The Mets were only 2.5 games back to the Pirates and then beat them 3 more games in a row. Take over first place. There's a swing and a miss. And Texas Center has his first strikeout. He got Don Hahn in a high inside fastball. One away, it brings up Bud Harrelson. Bud was robbed of a base hit on a great backhand play by Darren Johnson, the first baseman. Harrelson in the series has had 6 hits and 18 times up. He's batting .333. Bud batting from the left-hand side against the right-hander. He did prefer to bat right-handed. That was his natural side before he learned how to switch it, but he saw so many right-handers that he said he prefers left-handed now. And there's a fly ball out to right center field. Moving back a couple of steps, Reggie Jackson. He's under the ball and he makes the catch. Brody at first base from the halfway position back to the bag. 2 men away, it brings up Tom Seaver. A's leading 2-0. Seaver has batted 1 time. He flied out to center field. Seaver, a right-hand batter. He has enough power to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And the first pitch to Seaver is high. A fastball missing. Ball 1. The sun is shining brightly on the playing field in Oakland. 1-0 pitch. Seaver swings and fouls the ball back against the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. You just joined us. The A's picked up a run in the first inning, added another in the third, and they lead by a score of 2-0 with 2 men out in the top of the 5th. Pitch to Seaver is outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lights have been turned on from the start of the ball game, but not necessary. Have no effect on the playing field area. Next pitch is hit the deep left field. Going back is Rudy, the warning track. He's by the wall. He looks at the wall, turns, and makes the catch. Seaver is out of the long drive to left field. Side retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. And the score at the end of 4.5 innings, Oakland 2, the New York Mets nothing.
Nobody likes to look at underarm stains, but they're a real problem. You use an antiperspirant, and you still get stains. Stains that won't wash out.
will start using the first anti-stain antiperspirant by Right Guard. Right Guard Powder Dry. It's so effective it helps stop wetness and stains. Try it and see for yourself. Right Guard Powder Dry Antiperspirant. It's the first anti-stain antiperspirant by Right Guard. The middle of the fifth. The A's in a do-or-die game for them lead 2-0. Hey, guys, grab hold of the soft life. You get it with Foamy. Foamy shave cream from Gillette. Foamy is America's favorite shave cream. Has been for a long time. Because Foamy's thick, rich lather makes shaving so easy, you hardly know you're shaving. Foamy softens the toughest beard for a close, clean, truly luxurious shave. You've got the soft life with the soft shave. Foamy, America's best-selling shave cream from Gillette. Well, we're going now to the bottom of the fifth inning. A game going Oakland's way by a score of 2-0. Tom Seaver matched up for the second time against Catfish Hunter. In the other ball game, Seaver was leading by a score, and Catfish left the ball game for a pinch hitter. Later on, Seaver left for a pinch hitter. It was tied up at 2-2, and later on, it was won by Oakland in 11 innings by a score of 3-2. And as we go to the bottom of the fifth, here for the play-by-play, Jim Simpson. Kathy Carpenter hurts to fly to short center field in the first and foul out to Milner at first base, and the third is up. In New York, it was the crowds of Shea. Now in Oakland, the crowds of Oakland. In New York, it was Tug McGraw saying, you gotta believe. And out here in left field now in Oakland, there's a sign in the green and gold of Oakland saying, make it happen. Seaver delivers the fastball right down the middle, strike one to Campaneris. Campaneris was jammed and foul out in the third on a high inside fastball on the 2-2 count. Joe Rudy is on deck. The A's have led from the first inning. Bouncing ball towards Garrett at third base. Has it on the easy hop near the mound and throws out Campaneris for the first out. Out the Oakland fifth inning. And up comes Joe Rudy. Went with a 2-2 fastball on the outside corner, drilled a single to right field, later scored ahead of the double by Jackson, and then struck out swinging at a Seaver fastball in the third inning. Rudy with 3 RBIs, 7 hits in the World Series. And a couple of spectacular, well, no league has repeated as World Series champions in the last 7. Oakland would like to even it today and win it tomorrow to become the first. Ball hits in center field. Back goes Neon on the grass. Now it's over in right center field, actually, and Neon hauls in an easy pop-up. 2 out in the fifth inning. Bando, the batter. Bando chased the curve and struck out in the first, and then singled and scored ahead of a double by Jackson, which was picked up by Staub in right field, and as Rusty had told Yogi Berra days ago, if you need a throw from me, take me out. Staub picked the ball up and just side-armed it toward Neon. Bando running all the way, scored the second run of the game. Check swing. Brody says he foul tipped it, turned to Harry Wendelstedt, the National League umpire, and Wendelstedt says no, so now Brody is saying, hey. Yes, he did. Ball one. Tom Seaver, California. Born and raised in Fresno, California. Now lives in Connecticut, back in California, trying to nail down a World Series. Breaking pitches outside. The ball. 2-0. Mets won it in 5 in 1969. They'll settle for 6 in 73. Ground ball on a short. Gets away from him. And Garrett's having a tough time at third base in this World Series. One big hop, looped down to his feet. He couldn't come up with it. And that'll bring up Reggie Jackson, who has driven in both runs of this ball game, with a double in the first and a double in the third. Hit a curveball in the first and the fastball in the third. Double to center and to right. Scoring Rudy and Bando. 2 out. Bando on the Garrett era. Jackson takes a hard breaking pitch inside. Ball one. They still the favorites, even though they were down 3 games to 2 to win the series, despite the fact that Seaver is pitching today. Seaver has not looked that effective. Changes on this and misses. 2-0. Seaver was overpowering in the third game when he struck out 12. Today he has 5 strikeouts already and could be out of this inning. Ground ball towards the second base from Neon, down to one knee, throws on to Milner, and they're out of the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. We've gone to the first 5, and Oakland leads New York 2-0.
Nothing can crack the turtle's back. Nothing can glaze like the turtle's glaze. 25 minutes does it. It's a snap with a turtle. turbo for your car. Anything else is just mod turbo.
Diet now sugar-free and with less than 1 calorie per bottle. It's arriving now at your grocers. Sugar-free Diet Rye Cola.
Going now to the top of the 6th inning. Wayne Gibb will lead off for the New York Mets with the A's leading by a score of 2-0. A's have 2 runs on 5 hits and made no errors. The Mets no runs on 2 hits and they've made 1. That's the center. To work to Wayne Garrett and here for the play-by-play, Jim Simpson.
Wayne Garrett, who they said was winning the third base job in the closing days of the 1973 season, has committed his 3rd error now in this 1973 World Series. He walked in the first, popped out on the 3rd. Against Hunter, first time around, he hit a home run as the leadoff man. Garrett has 2 home runs among his 4 hits in the series. At the top of the 6th of the game, it's a must for Oakland. If the A's lose it, it's all over. If they win it, it's Matlack and Horrell. Jim Hunter, the right-hander, throws and swing and a miss by Garrett with a high fastball. Strike 1. On deck is Leon. A week ago, Saturday and Sunday, Ralph Conner and I sat here, and you could not see the Oakland Hills. Very smoggy. It is crystal clear here today. Now back toward the sea. We've been able to see the hills perfectly, clouds in the sky, passing over the stadium once in a while to give us cloud cover, but pretty generally, a very sunny, beautiful day. On a day that is predicted to be a rainy day. Did not go around there, although telescopes show the next field. With the third base umpire, Jerry Newdecker, in his space, Garrett did not go around. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hunter had that 5-0 shutout to nail down Baltimore in the American League Center. Would like to shut out the Mets here and send the A's on to the final game tomorrow. 2-2, pitch outside. Stare at Tennis's catcher now, has the sign, so it's a breaking pitch, and it's outside. Well, he was ahead of Garrett 0-2, and now, after the check swing, a few more pitches stay outside, and it's 3-2. Garrett on a 3-2 pitch back in the first inning drew a walk, and it's this one straight away center field. In comes Gabalio, waving everybody away. Nobody's near him. He's right in dead center field, short center field, and takes it for the first out. That'll bring up Leon. Green made a fine running catch in foul territory on a Leon pop-up in the first. Leon hit one just into short center field that Davalio took in the 3rd. At one time in this ball game, Hunter had retired 11 in a row before Grody hit the first pitch of the 5th inning and singled under the glove of Bando at third base. Since then, Hunter has settled down and has gotten the last 4, although one of those outs includes Tom Seaver's long drive to the warning track. Leon looks for the call strike. Bando was looking for Leon to bunt his way on, and with Rusty Staub a chance to score for the Mets, drive in a run. 1 strike count. Leon inside, lifts his arms over the pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Canadian Jack Benny continues to sit down in Charles O. Finley Park, staying for the game. Swing and a miss for the breaking ball. This has been an odd series. Lots of controversy, lots of misplays in the field, and lots of exciting moments. And nobody has pitched a complete ball game since 1971 in a World Series. Pitch misses outside low. 2-2. Speed blast of the Pirates. In that 7-game series in which the Pirates with Roberto Clemente doing such a great job. When they beat Baltimore in 71, that 7th game, that's the last complete game. Last year, none. This year, none. Could happen today. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball over the glove of Hunter. Campaneris comes over to the back of second. Goes on to first base. Got it. Campaneris. And that'll bring up Rusty Staub. And instead of Leon at first base with 1 out, the fine play of Campaneris makes none out, none on, or rather 2 out, none on, and Staub the batter. Rusty swung on the first pitch from Hunter in the first inning, single to center field, and then popped out to Green in the 4th. 9 base hits in 20 attempts. curveball away, ball one. Well, Ralph and I and Monty Moore from New York have been extolling the virtues of Campaneris and Harrelson, the two shortstops in this World Series. 1-0. Cobb looks at another outside pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Leon Jones kneels on deck in a 2-0 ball game, which the A's lead. We're in the top of the 6th. Hunter ready again for Cobb. Pulls the ball on the ground toward Green. Up to the catcher's side. Goes on to first base. And now Hunter's retired for the last 6 in a row. No runs hit, 2 errors on left. To the last of the 6th we go. A's 2, Mets nothing.
Differences between the new 74 cars? Several. Like Chrysler Corporation's extensive use of electronics, every car we build in this country has electronic ignition and an electronic voltage regulator to help save you time and money on service. And every one of our engine plants in this country uses Chrysler-designed electronic engine function testers to help assure you of a reliable, smooth-running engine. Electronics is one of the differences extra care and engineering makes in Dodge and Chrysler Plymouth.
We're going now to the bottom of the 6th inning. The A's coming up in this ball game. It sees the A's in front by again. Here's Jim. Gene Tennis, the hero of the 72 World Series, struck out swinging at a curveball in the first and popped to Milner at first base in the third. 0 for 2. One of 3 right-handed batters for the A's who refused batting practice today. Bando and Rudy also didn't take batting practice, and each has an important base hit. Tennis waits and gets the fastball up under the chin. Ball one. Rudy singled in the first inning and was doubled home by Jackson. Bando singled in the third inning and was doubled home by Jackson. Down ball toward third base. Garrett has to go off the step. Picks it up, goes on to first base. Got it. What a close play. Garrett almost had his 4 down on the steer. Wayne Garrett must be talking to himself at third base. Normally a fine fielding third baseman. Has committed 3 errors. And on Thursday night in New York, nearly waved at a ball and went fine for a double. Here's Vic Gabalio, who walked on the 3-1 pitch in the second and ground to Milner. Unassisted in the... A's lead it by 2. Gary Grodich tying his shoe. Fixing his shin guards now drops back behind the plate. We talked about the Mets crowds a lot, and so again, let's bring up this open crowd here today. Very alive. Too low to Davalio. You know they all didn't get together to have a meeting, but they've really been taking a beating in the press from the A's players for the lackadaisical behavior at the game and not showing up. It's a sellout today, and they're making all kinds of noise. That curveball from Seaver hit the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Davalio, the left-handed batter. Comes back with a breaking pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2. Well, if the A's do win today, you know the kind of crowd, the kind of excitement we'll have here tomorrow. For the 3rd year in a row, we would go to the decisive 7th game of a World Series. 1 ball, 2 strike fastball, high and away, 2 and 2. Ray Sadecki, when Seaver was in trouble in the 3rd, after Jackson doubled home a run, warmed up only in the 3rd. Seaver's been in command since. Pitch, curveball, this is high. 3 and 2. Darren Johnson on deck. Tom Seaver throws the fastball, hits a high, shallow center field. Elson goes back, Hahn comes on. Hahn still coming on. Captain's glove has it. 2 out of the 6, and that'll bring up Darren Johnson. On a 3-2 pitch, and then out Davalio was running under second. Johnson grounded to Helson at shortstop. They had no chance for the double play. Johnson was thrown out, and then he bounced again to Helson in the 4th. 0 for 2. Gary Adair has picked up the batting helmet of Davalio that he ran out from under. circling the bases and thrown it in. Now Johnson is ready. 19 home runs, 81 RBIs during the regular season. Fastball inside, ball one. As a designated hitter. And a bone chip began to float around on his right thumb. He couldn't get around on the ball, and he tailed off considerably in the late going. 1 ball, no strike. Swing and a miss to the fastball. Matter of fact, here was one of the finest designated hitters in the American League doing so well, and he had a bone chip in his right thumb, and Catfish Hunter fractured his right thumb. Fastball in under the hand. 2-1. Catfish Hunter fractured his right thumb trying to field a ground ball in the All-Star game in Kansas City. 2 of the biggest men in the Oakland A's with the same problem, their right thumb. Swing and a miss again by Johnson. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out of the 6. Oakland leading 2-0. Very pleasant day in the Bay Area. Fastball misses outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Seaver has struck out 4. I think earlier I said 5. He has struck out 4. He's given up 5 hits. Ground ball. This is the 6th hit. Off Harrelson to shortstop. And Green, who after 10 hitless tries, got a base hit to center back in the 4th. Green right-handed all the way. Would seldom get to bat more than twice in the first 3 games because he was quickly lifted for a pinch hitter. 2 out, 1 on. Seaver from the stretch. Throws the fastball. Ground ball right back to Seaver. Had to protect himself. Throws over to first. That was a very quick comebacker on the first pitch. No runs. 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We've gone through 6 full innings. Oakland 2 and New York nothing.
This is Milo Hamilton, voice of the Atlanta Braves, with some surprising statistics, like this one. Did you know that Delta Airlines is the 5th largest in the U.S. and the world's 6th largest airline? It's true. And Delta's already flown more than 19 million passengers so far this year to 99 great places in the Western Hemisphere, like Florida, California, New York, New England, and the Midwest. Delta's jet fleet includes 747, DC-10s, and TriStars. But the most interesting fact might be that no matter how big Delta gets, you still get treated like a long-lost son who just set foot on the front porch. Next trip, fly Delta, the airline run by professionals, 28,000 strong. And pay for your tickets with the American Express card. You can even extend your airfare payment with the American Express card sign and fly plan. Identification. We pause 30 seconds for station identification. Horse lovers and racing fans, here's a first-time offer. The only 9 Triple Crown winners in horse racing history, all together in a large 14x18 color print, including a 1974 calendar. Centered in this beautiful print from Front Runner Productions is the super horse of our times, Secretariat. Order today 1 for yourself and another for a friend. Send your check or money order for $3.98 plus 25 cents postage to Front Runner Productions, Post Office Box 1, 1407, Portland. Again from Oakland, California, with Ralph Conner, this is Jim Simpson. The 7th inning, Cleon Jones, John Miller, and Jerry Grote at against Catfish Hunter. Began to warm again, and apparently Tom Seaver may be feeling the effects of that stiff and painful right shoulder. He trails 2-0. Jones is over 2, fly to center, and grounded to Campanelli at shortstop. This pitch hits the dirt outside the plate and goes back to the screen. Ball 1. Jones, in 5 appearances now against Catfish Hunter, has failed to reach base. They play him the other way, and he fouls this one away. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Milner on deck. Well, we've talked about the Mets pitching against the Cincinnati Reds and the Oakland A's. How about Catfish Hunter today against the New York Mets? Breaking ball, blown away. It's 2-1. Catfish has allowed 2 hits, struck out 1, walked 1. 1 man in the game has been as far as second base. That's ball down low. Now he's gone to 3-1. And very quickly, we're going to get some activity in the Oakland bullpen. They've got the 2-run lead. They don't want it to get away. Ground ball towards Campanelli to shortstop. Attitude shot comes up and an easy out. Jones swinging on the 3-1 pitch. Ground to Campanelli. Well, you know how seriously Dick Williams wants this one. His 2 finest, Raleigh Fingers
the right-hander. Bill Knowles, the left-hander. Now going in the Oakland bullpen. And John Milner hit a very towering high fly to Davalillo in center field of the first and grounded to Johnston at first, and the fourth is up for the third time. Jerry Grody's on deck. Runs out, base hit. This is Johnston and Green. Third base hit off Catfish Hunter, and up comes Jerry Grody, who has one of the three. He hit the first pitch of the fifth inning. And in the second inning, sent Rudy deep toward the warning track, swinging on a 3-1 pitch. So Grody hit the ball hard twice. He is 1 for 2. Sadecki continues to warm for New York. Fingers and Knowles for Oakland. They play Grody slightly around to the left. Hunter throws drive toward left field. Back goes Joe Rudy to the warning track. Stands on the warning track and takes it in front of the wall. Rudy now has really been teeing off on Catfish Hunter, but the record shows 1 for 3. Milner retreats to first base, and that'll bring up Don Hahn. Sal Bando and Gene Kenneth out to talk to Catfish Hunter at the mound, and the bullpen continues busy, and the pine tar ride is called for by Don Hahn. A's have their 2-run on 6 hits, no errors. New York, no run, 3 hits, and a harmless error by Wayne Gant at third base, and apparently Tom Seaver is too, because Kentucky has the morning all through this New York 7th. Now, Don Hahn steps in against the right-hander, Catfish Hunter. Davalillo is around in left center field. Against the left-hander, Cleveland the other night, or Blue rather, Jackson was playing him way over in right center field, and he teed off with a triple to left center. Now they're playing Hahn to pull, not to go the other way. Hunter ready, throws the fastball down low. 1 ball, no strike. Hahn has fouled out Campaneris. He made a running grab in the second and struck out at a high inside fastball. Hunter back. Hahn watches this one go low, drops to the bit, gets it out. 2-0. The crowd here very live. 2-0. They realized that Hunter was down 3-1 to Jones before he grounded out. Milner hit the first pitch for a single, and Grody sent Rudy to the wall. Harrelson is on deck. Mets down by 2. Ground ball toward the shortstop. Campaneris. He will go to second base, and they're out of it again. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the last of the 7th, and Catfish Hunter and Oakland are in charge at the moment, 2-0. You know those greasy, slick-down hairstyles have had it. All kinds of guys with all kinds of hair are realizing that. The wet-head is dead. So now, Brett offers the dry look. Number 1 aerosol hair control and 3 special formulas. Regular, extra hold, and a new formula for naturally oily hair. Each has the adjustable valve that sprays as light as you like. So your hair looks full, natural, but dry. Now that you realize the wet-head is dead, get the dry look that's right for you. From Gillette.
It was 1903. The year Boston beat Pittsburgh in the first modern World Series. The year America first saved with the Gillette Double Edge. A lot of things have changed since then. Some haven't, because today, for nearly half the guys in America, Double Edge is still the only way to get a smooth first shave. Gillette Super Stainless Blade, longer lasting platinum plus. Gillette, we made the first blade, and we're still the first blade.
4 times in this ballgame, the Mets have been set down 1-2-3. Tom Seaver has not been able to retire Oakland in order in the ballgame. Oakland has left 6 men on base, 3 in scoring position, 1 is saved. The Mets have left 4 men on base, only 1 in scoring position, and that is second base back in the first inning. It's Oakland 2, the Mets nothing. We're going to the bottom of the 7th, and here's Jim Simpson. Catfish Hunter struck out looking at a fastball in the second. Wide to center in the 4th, facing Tom Seaver, not Ray Sadecki. Seaver remains in the ballgame. Ball misses outside. Now Sadecki, our thoughts were probably warning, maybe Yogi Berra was thinking pinch hitter. But the number 4 man in the lineup was up when Sadecki was throwing, so he had plenty of time to warm up in case this would develop a beginning. Down to the screen. Seaver is back and throwing. 1 ball, 1 strike. A's win today, and we have a 7th game tomorrow. Foul down the right field line. The game tomorrow will begin 1.5 hours later than today. And that is the first pitch will be at 1:30 Pacific time. That's the first pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Hunter, Seaver right back, throws in a curveball that drops over beautifully. Strike 3 call. Hunter watches all the way, and now Seaver has strikeout number 5. 1 out of the 7th. That'll bring up Campanella. So today is 0 for 3, and really hasn't hit the ball hard at all. Fly to short center field, foul out to Milner first, and down to the gate at third. It was Campanella in the last Seaver-Hunter matchup. They were gone in the 11th inning. It drove in the winning run to win it 3-2. Strike call. Our score here today is 2-0. Love to see a performance like that of Catfish Hunter today. Ground ball foul. Here's the man that walked to the ballpark knowing that if he did not have it, maybe he would be bailed out by the bullpen and his teammates. They haven't gotten him a lot of runs against a very tough Tom Seaver. But Catfish Hunter has made sure the Mets don't score at all. Through 7, they've failed to score, and they haven't even come close. And the World Series, as far as the A's are concerned, rides on today's game. They've got to win today before first and 6 blowing away. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Campanella. Hunter won the clincher last year in relief of John Odom. Back with the fastball. Just missed the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck is Joe Rudy. And the A's fans, and rightfully so, figure they might need some more runs. They'd like Campanella to do something. Swing and misses, looks like a slider. Struck out. And strikeout number 6. That'll be up Joe Rudy. He started things in the first inning with a single to right field with 1 out and scored ahead of the Jackson double. Simpson struck out swinging at a fastball and popped to Leon at second base. They play. You will go with the pitch straight away. Tom Seaver throws down low, ball 1. Leading on deck is Sal Bando. This blue sky over the Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area today is one of the prettiest colors of blue you'll ever want to see. Beautiful day. Pitch misses outside. 2-0. Light fluffy clouds, temperatures in the 60s. Slight breeze blowing toward center field. And unlike the night games in New York, where everybody was bundled up for football, here most people had their jackets off. 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses outside. 3 balls, no strikes to Joe Rudy. Rudy steps out and looks to Norm. As Ralph pointed out, one of several candidates for what apparently will be the vacated job as manager of Oakland, with Dick Williams moving on. Tim Lawler, Maury Wills mentioned as others in the papers here. Fastball misses outside. And on 4 pitches, Tom Seaver walks his second man. That will bring up with 2 outs Sal Bando. Here's 1 for 3. A single in the second inning. Later scored ahead of a Jackson double. He reached on Garrett's error in the 5th. And we've got the bullpen for New York up in busy again as this ball gets away. And down to second base goes Joe Rudy. That ball was down in the dirt. Sadecki is warming up to the 3rd side. The wild pitch. Bando now with a chance to really put Oakland in business. They lead 2-0. A base hit here should make it 3-0. The upper deck and falls into the mezzanine. Well behind first base. 1 ball, 1 strike is a dangerous Sal Bando. 98 RBIs, 29 home runs during the regular season. Oakland has not hit a home run for the first 5 games plus of the 73 World Series. There's a strike right on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a ball club, Oakland, which has 3 Mets that combined with 85 home runs. The entire New York Mets team has hit 85 home runs during the regular season, and yet it is the Mets who have all the homers. The A's have none in World Series play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curveball down towards Garrett, and he's in foul territory as he makes the throw to first base. Brown Jones has hit a home run, Rusty Staub has hit a home run, and Wayne Garrett has hit a couple.
6 hits, no errors for Oakland, no runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Mets. Seaver off the mound, just staring in, hands-on hit. Ahead of the batter, Bando, 1 and 2. Mets will go to their 8-9 batters in the 8th inning, so undoubtedly Seaver will be batted for. Or probably, I should say. Comes back with a fastball that is too low, 2 and 2. Seaver's gotten himself in all of his trouble in this inning, walking Rudy on 4 pitches and then wild pitching him to second base. From the stretch, 2-2 pitch. Drive center field. Hahn flips down the glasses. Couple of steps over, then comes drives it for the third out. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We've gone through 7 innings, and the A's have led from the first. The score, Oakland 2, New York nothing. Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love. What is the
Don't just stand around and sniffle. Do something about that cold. Early. To get the relief you want, up to 12 hours of continuous relief from just your sneezing, runny nose, and congestion, you'll need 6 cold tablets, 2 every 4 hours. Or 3 ounces of nighttime liquid, 1 every 4 hours. Or only 1 contact. Figure it out. 6 or 3 or 1. Take contact. Get all day and all night relief. Use contact only as directed and only when you know you need it. Contact. #1 cold medicine in the whole world. Because it works.
We're going now to the top of the 8th. The next down to their last 6 outs, and the leadoff batter here in the 8th inning will be Bud Elson, the 8th batter in the batting order. And now, as we move to the play-by-play, here's Jim Simpson. Eyebrows caught us. Sadecki continues to throw, and Ken Boswell comes out on deck. The Mets are going to the pinch hitter, and Tom Seaver will be through. But Dick Williams still has Raleigh Fingers and Darrell Knowles up and throwing, and Captain Hunter hasn't thrown a pitch yet. Seaver worked 7 innings in this game, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, struck out 6 and walked 2. Good enough to win a lot of games, but Captain Hunter's been that much better thus far. Elson batting left-handed against Captain Hunter. Watches the fastball hit the outside corner for a strike. Bando in on the grass at third base, figuring perhaps that Elson will try to bunt his way on. Swings, drive toward right field. Jackson goes back a few steps. Now balances himself under the house. Elson hit that ball a long way. About 360 feet away. Now Boswell will come on to do the hitting. Ken has been at bat 1 time and got a base hit in World Series play. Gus Scott, the pitching coach, races to the mound now to talk to Captain Hunter. Bando has come over. And it might be right here, considering that Boswell has only batted once before, did get a base hit. Scott and the rest of it might be reminding Captain Hunter of just what it is you are supposed to throw to Ken Boswell. Kenneth was in on the conversation, of course. Dean Kenneth now slowly walks back. Bando goes back to third, and Boswell tosses away one bat, beats the other, and steps in. Left-handed batter. Boswell's had 2 home runs in the regular season. They were both pinch-hit home runs. They pull him to stand the pull around to the right. Cavalier over in right center. Jackson well over toward the line. And wins the World Series, standing on deck. Hunter's ready now and throws a pitch inside. Boswell backs away. It's ball 1. If the A's indeed win today and we go to the 7th game, Holtzman and Matlack tomorrow. Fastball catches the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, it's 1-1, but that's the pattern of the pitching of Captain Hunter. Not an overpowering pitcher. Got every pitch nearly, but he'll move it around, inside, outside, up and down. Line drive down the right field line, and that's the base hit. Boswell is 2-2 in series play. Jackson was going well to the right, so he was there to prevent it from being a double. The 4th hit of Hunter, and we go back to Garrett. And Dick Williams is coming out with the knowledge that Hunter's been up high throughout the game. They had everybody warming in the 7th. Garrett, left-hander, is coming up. Darrell Knowles is down in the bullpen, the left-hander, and Garrett has hit 2 home runs. The Bulls, the fans here, remember what Captain Hunter did against Baltimore in that 5-0 shutout to win the American League Championship. Would love to see Captain Hunter stay in the ball game. Dick Williams wants to win and says, I'm going for Darrell Knowles.
1-10. Well, Jim, the best thing that can be said about a manager taking the pitcher out of the ball game, and here's the ovation for is that the ball game does not belong to the individual player. It does not belong to the pitcher. It belongs to the team. And just because the pitcher has been doing well, if the manager thinks that the situation demands a change in pitching, that is a decision that he has to make, because it is not an individual ball game. It is a team game, and the manager feels that the left-hander is more effective in the situation against the left-hand batter, and that's the move he has to make. Darrell Knowles is appearing in his 6th game of this World Series, and that's right, this is game number 6. Last year, with a bad hand, he set up the entire series. Has not allowed a run. He's had 1 save. 5 2/3 innings. He's given up 2 hits. 1 run, which was unearned, and that was brought about. Well, not 1, but 3 errors in 1 game. Remember the game in which the A's had 5 errors? That's when the run scored against it. Well, we are keeping our record intact for 1972 and 73. 7 games in 72, and now for the 6th of 73, nobody is going to complete a ball game as a pitcher. Steve is gone, with Boswell getting the line drive base hit. And now Pat Fitzhenner's gone. And Knowles, standing out there, becomes the first pitcher ever to work in 6 consecutive World Series games. His breaking ball is outside, ball 1. Hugh Casey, Raleigh Fingers, and Pedro Bourbon pitched in 6 games in 1 series, but not in consecutive appearances. For Darrell Knowles, know it or not, the potential tying run at home plate is setting a record. This pitch is down low. It's 2-0 to Garrett. It's Leon on deck. They've got 1 out in the 8th inning. The Mets trail 2-0. They've got Boswell with a pinch hit single at first base. Knowles goes away as he is mixed outside every time. 3-0. Doug McGraw is now up and throwing in the New York bullpen. Lindblad has joined Finger. There's the strike. Paul Lindblad, the left-hander. John Raleigh Fingers, the right-hander. McGraw's the only one throwing now. Tedeschi's no longer throwing in the Met bullpen. This pitch misses. Whoops, up the outside corner. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Good-looking slider from Darrell Knowles. But he's gone one way with Garrett. That's pitching him away. Must have gone in on him or gotten it in over the plate. Pitches all on the outside corner. There is again. Line drive. This is out of the alley in left center field. Here he comes over to cut it off. Cuts it off. On the way to third base goes Boswell, and they've got runners at the corners. The tying runs are on with 1 out. And Leon coming up. Another excellent fielding play by Joe Rudy in left field to get that ball in left field. Long way to go, and he stopped Garrett at first base. So the Mets have the tying run at first base instead of second. That's why an excellent play by the left fielder. Boswell over at third base. First, and Leon coming up. Leon has been up 27 times down this World Series and has had only 4 hits. And Leon committed the error in this ballpark 1 week ago today that allowed 2 unearned runs to score, and the Mets lost 2-1. So you know the thoughts of his eyes that are going through Felix Leon's mind as he steps to the plate. 1 out. 2-0 to score. Knowles now for the stretch. To the right end of Leon. Down ball, right side. Gets past everybody. That's on his way to third base. The throw goes to third base. Stretch in. And the tying run with 1 out is over at third base. It's 2-1. Leon is the first pitch and comes through. And some of the fans now are a little restless because Captain Cutter was taken out. But Dick Williams looked at the percentages. The left-hander to the left-hander Garrett. And he got the base hit. And now Leon is followed with a base hit. And here comes Rusty Staub. He has more hits in this World Series than anybody else. 9. 1 in this game. 1 for 3. He has more RBIs than anybody else. 5 all in 1 game. He has a home run. If Staub can hit the ball to the outfield, it could be a tie ball game. There's some excellent arms out there defensively for the Oakland A's. Staub now with his team turning 2-1 in the 6th game. Knowles ready. Swing and a miss on a good-looking Knowles fastball. Strike 1. That run was charged to Hunter.
The runners on base now charge to Dale Knowles. It's 2-1. Both teams now have 6 hits. From the stretch, Knowles throwing. Swinging and a miss. 2 strikes to Rusty Staub. Leon Jones on deck. Staub steps out, his gloved hands together. He wears gloves on both hands, and now steps back in. Oakland 2, New York 1. We're in the top of the 8th. Knowles throws. Swing and a miss. The fastball into the hand. And Knowles gets the big strikeout. 2 out. And Leon Jones coming up. And Dick Whitting's coming out. That should be all for Dale Knowles. Undoubtedly, he will go to the right-hander, Raleigh Finger. Knowles comes in and gives up 2 base hits, one of which drives a run. Another puts the tying run at third base. Then he strikes out. Now for Rusty Staub. And with the right-hander Jones coming up, Raleigh Fingers is coming on, and from Oakland we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Of course, the World Series is a first for KTOK. Another first for Portlanders is KUPL 98.5 FM stereo, where 24 hours per day you'll be entertained with the world's most beautiful music, together with 2 minutes of news per hour and never more than 7 units of commercial time. Beautiful music for the greater Portland area. KUPL, the only beautiful music station. We invite you to make couple part of your lifestyle.
KTOK Portland. At the turning point of series, and this one strike out a Rusty Staub, and 3 pitches might be an awfully big one for Oakland. Takes a chance for the Mets to score a run on and out, right out of their hands, and now it's all up to Cleon Jones with 2 men out, and the tying run at third base. So go ahead, run at first. And Raleigh Fingers, a hard-throwing, toward the side-arming right-hander to work against Cleon Jones, who is 0 for 3 in this ballgame. Cleon has had a fine series, and right here, he could put it away for the New York Mets. Once again for the play-by-play, Jim Simpson. Raleigh Fingers in his 5th game has pitched 9 innings, allowed 1 earned run. Right-hander, very tough on right-handed pitchers. Last Sunday here, it was Fingers who gave up a bouncing ball up the middle single to Willie Mays. That put the Mets ahead. Leon Jones, 0 for 3 today. Had a great closing September. The Tigers at third base. Wayne Garrett, beyond at first, they're 2 out. It's 2-1 in the 8th inning. The Mets first and most golden opportunity of the 6th inning. Fingers throws, fly ball, center field. Cavalier starts in, is there, and on 1 foot, he's got him no out of it. 1 run scores on 3 base hits, so no errors, and 2 big runners left. We go to the last of the 8th. Oakland holding a 2-1 lead over New York.
All cars are alike. You'll find important differences in all Chrysler Corporation cars made in this country. For example, reduced maintenance. With our electronic ignition, you never have to replace points and condensers. There aren't any. Spark plugs last up to about 18,000 miles. And with our torque-flight transmission, you have no recommended maintenance under normal driving conditions. Reduced maintenance is just one of the differences extra care and engineering make. Discover all the differences at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Catcher Tug McGraw is coming out for his 5th appearance. He's worked 12 and 2/3 innings. He's won 1, lost none. He has a save, and an average of 2.83. Last Sunday, McGraw had perhaps his worst performance, but nevertheless continually got out of jams. And you know what happened, of course, when McGraw came on in the 7th inning the other night in New York. He gave up a walk to Darren Johnson, but then got Manguel to pop out and struck out Campaneris on a fastball. Walked a couple of men in the 8th inning in trouble, but then got a loo. The line to Garrett there in the 8th inning, and then got a 1-2-3 in the 9th to save the win for Jerry Guzman. He has struck out 13. He is noted for the screwball. The 2 for 3 today, 2 doubles that have driven in both of the Oakland runs. And then Gene Tennis and Dick Cavalier. In the last of the 8th, the Mets made it close to the top of the 8th, driving Captain Hunter out of there. Hunter can win the ball game, cannot lose it. Tomorrow, if this game goes to tomorrow, for the 7th game of the World Series, it'll be the left-hander, and what a job he has done, John Matlack. He is 1-1 in World Series play. And yet, his earned run average is 0. All 3 runs he's given up in 2 games have been unearned. And of course, it is Sonny Holtzman for the Oakland A's. Holtzman has won 1 and lost 1. His earned run average, are you listening? 6.75. But that's if there is a tomorrow. There is today. McGraw to pitch to Jackson down low with the 2 ball. Ball 1. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Oakland. 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error for New York. The error did not figure in the score. They play Jackson, of course, around to the right and deep. Fouled off to the right. Well, no matter who wins this ball game, this has been one of the better played ball games of this 1973 World Series. McGraw, the left-hander, ready and throws another 2 ball down low. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Indians are in a brilliant sunshine now. It, of course, causes a bit of trouble for the left and center fielder. Drive out towards center field. On comes John Hahn. A 1-hop at this time, rolls to the wall. Jackson on his way around second base. Hahn up with it. Throws it to the cutoff Van Helsen. On to third base goes Jackson. Well, we said this game is one of the better play games, and Hahn let that roll right through it. Because of his glove. That ball came up on 1 hop and went right under his glove and in. That is the second New York error. And more importantly, the insurance run, the Oakland A's feel they need to go to the 9th inning. With none out, is over at third base, and Gene Tennis is up. The infield comes in. Tennis is 0 for 3. Cavalier walks down on deck. Nope, will be batted for by a Lou. Ball 1. Jesus out swinging the bat. This Williams going for the kill. Even is up to 7 to 7 games. Back again with a breaking pitch. In the deck, blocked by Grody. 2-0. Nobody in either bullpen. It's up to McGraw and Fingers at the moment. McGraw ready. Throws another 2 ball. It misses again. New York, Chapter Center for Oakland. Neither is around. And now time call. Umpire Harry Wendelstedt steps around. I think so. This pitch is in there. 2 ball for a strike. Each time the out, of course, touches over behind his mound just in case the ball can get away from McGraw. So they could stop Jackson from scoring from third base. From the top of the swing. Breaking pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Gene Tennis. Another breaking hit, ball 4. Miss low on the side. Runners at the corners, none out, and a Lou coming on. Cavalier is out of the game. Jesus Lou, 3 hits and 8 feet at bat. He's had a double, driven in a couple of runs. World Series average 167 during the regular season. Now Lou, the very fidgety outfielder, the youngest of the Lou brothers, and a right-handed swinger. The infield, of course, remains drawn in. They're not going for the double play. They want to cut that runner off if they can. Inside to Lou, ball 1. That walk for Tennis was his 10th. The World Series record is 11, held by Babe Ruth in 7 games in 1926. The draw back. Pitch off. High left field. Cleon Jones. It's not that deep waiting for it. Jackson tagging. Jones goes to second base. It is 3-1. Oakland.
result of the air by Don Hahn out in center field that allowed Jackson on his ball away to third base. And the pattern of World Series play continues. Unearned run, playing a big part in a series with no pitchers has pitched a complete game. Now Baron Johnson. Now the infield of the Mets looking for the double play with one out and Tennis at first base. Up high, ball one with the fastball. Oakland 3, New York 1. It'll be Milner, Jordan Hahn in the ninth for New York. Swing and a miss by Johnson as he goes for a breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hahn and Jones play Baron Johnson respectfully, very deep. Ball is fouled back on the screen. That is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ready. Goes, drive down the left field line foul. Goes past the bullpen catcher. Jesus Lou is down there warming up now. His sacrifice fly is just given in the third run of the ball game for Oakland, but he wants to get ready to take his position in right field. Jackson undoubtedly will move over to center with Davila out of the ball game. One ball, 2 strikes to Baron Johnson. Down low. Fastball, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Back to the breaking pitch down low. Looks like it's 2 balls. 3 and 2. And now we will wonder with you, with 3 and 2 and only 1 out, is Tennessee going? Johnson strikes out a lot. They had Davila going back in the second inning. Dennis is going, swinging a miss to strike out. Brody throws down to second base. They're waiting for him, and they've got him. As he strikes out into a double play and works back in the second inning, not of the 8th. 1 home-run run on 1 base hit. 1 error and nobody left. At the end of 8, Oakland 3 and New York 1.
This is Milo Hamilton, voice of the Atlanta Braves. You know, I've been following the World Series for over 35 years, and I still don't know how to pick the winner. But when it comes to airlines, I always pick the right one. Let's see how you do. Which airline is ready when you are to 99 cities in the Western Hemisphere? If you pick Delta, you pick the right airline. Which airline is ready when you are with almost 1,500 jet takeoffs every day? If you pick Delta, you pick the right airline. Which airline is ready when you are with more money-saving night shift service to more cities than any other airline? If you pick Delta, you're right again. Which airline is the airline run by professionals? The answer is Delta. More than 28,000 highly skilled Delta people are ready and eager to serve you. This is Milo Hamilton saying, next trip, fly Delta, and pay for your tickets with the American Express card. Send your airfare payment with the American Express card sign and fly plan. Delta is ready when you are.
With Rob Connor, this is Jim Simpson. Defensive changes. Reggie Jackson has moved from right to center field. Lou has taken his place in right field. Gene Tennis moves from catcher to first base to replace Baron Johnson for a little bit more defense, and Ray Fosse becomes his catcher. The 9th inning. And it is all up to Riley Fingers now. A hold us for the Oakers to tie this World Series and to send it on to a wild 7th game tomorrow here at 1:30 Pacific time, our first pitch time. Milner is 1 for 3. Brody is 1 for 3. On to follow is 0 for 3. 3-1 to score in the 9th. Riley Fingers throws to left-handed John Milner. It's way outside, ball 1. And now Blue Moon Odom picks up a ball down in the Oakland bullpen along the left field line and starts to throw just in case. Fastball misses outside. And Fosse races out to Fingers. Jerry Brody on deck. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the A's, who have to win today. 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors for Oakland. Another pitch misses high and away. And it is quickly 3-0 to Milner. Put him on, and the next man up becomes your protector. Now Dick Whittings is coming up saying, hold it. Lindblad is warming. Ball got loose outfield. Lindblad and Odom now both begin to throw. And Dick Williams is going out to remind Raleigh Fingers of something very important. When you are a relief pitcher, the one thing you want to do is to throw strikes. You don't want to put runners on base. He has a count of 3-0 to Milner. Odom and Lindblad going very quickly and hard now. And now Wendelstedt, the umpire, again calls timeout, and they're getting streamers back in from the outfield. Long streamers of colored paper have been thrown onto the field, and now they've been dragged off. A 3-0 pitch. Milner squares around looking at the strike. Now he looks down to Eddie Yost to see if he's going to be taking again. Wes Scott jumps out of the Oakland dugout and signals out towards center fielder Reggie Jackson. Another pitch. It's fouled off, so it's now 3-2. Jackson has driven in 2 of the runs and scored the third out. On a single, he went to third. On Don Hahn there in center field and scored on the Alou sacrifice fly to left. They ball 2 strikes. Drive toward right field. Alou goes back to the warning track, along the warning track, and takes it for the first out. Well, Raleigh Fingers at 3-0 to John Milner. Into a McCall strike, got him to foul off one. Milner got around on the ball and drilled it to right field along the warning track near the 3:30 sign at the line, and Alou was right there for the full hitter. Jerry Grody has singled in 3 attempts. The other 2 times has sent Rudy very deep in left field. Time and out to running out to the New York Mets. And with each passing out, it begins to look more and more like Game 7 tomorrow. Fingers throws to Grody. Ground ball toward Green. Shoots big, easy hop. Takes his time. 2 out. Oakland is an out away from sending this for the 3rd year in a row to 7 games in a World Series. And Oakland fighting back, trying to become the first team, first league in 7 years to win back-to-back World Series championships. Ed Plainpool has walked out and started swinging a bat. Plainpool is going to bat for Hahn. Plainpool has been up once, 0 for 1 in the series. Who do not know the story of Ed Plainpool, he is a New Yorker who at the age of 17 was signed by the Mets and was a major leaguer in the Mets' first year. He is now 29, and 12 years later he is still in the major league with the team with which he started, the New York Mets. The only original Met left. 3-1 the score. Top of the 9th inning, 2 out, Met on. Harrelson on deck just in case. Plainpool stepped in. And now the Oakland bullpen begins